Welcome back to Life's a Beach, mental health podcast. My name is Jared, here with my co-host Caitlin. The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we thought it would be a good reminder to speak about the importance of staying mentally well. And that's regardless of whatever industry you work in or your seniority level. And you can fall anywhere on the spectrum. Maybe your needs are around stress or burnout, or maybe something a little bit more serious like depression or substance abuse. So I'm really excited about our conversation today with Shaniqua and Mark. We'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but thank you for being here. Shaniqua, do you want to start it off?
Hello, everyone. My name is Shaniqua Hawkins, and I am a licensed behavioral health therapist with the VB Strong Center in partnership with Centera. And I am an LPC, which means I am a licensed professional counselor with the state of Virginia. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Mark Hayes. I am a licensed clinical social worker, of course, with the VB Strong Center in partnership with Centera Healthcare and the team lead. And I'm just glad to be here, and thank you for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So could you guys both describe the VB Strong Center and the services that you guys provide for those that aren't aware?
Yes, of course. So number one, again, like Mark said, thank you for having us here to be able to bring more awareness to the VB Strong Center. So the VB Strong Center in partnership with Centera is a resiliency center that was established as a result of the tragic events that happened on May 31st, 2019 in the city of Virginia Beach. We were brought in to kind of help with a grant that was awarded by the state to address some of the concerns related to May 31st. So basically, we are here to serve those directly impacted as well as the community at large at addressing some of their issues that they may be experiencing as a result of everything that occurred. We offer countless amount of different activities, resources, and things, individual work, such as case management. So when you are doing case management, you meet with a behavioral health therapist like myself, Mark. We've been doing it virtually as well as in person. So what you do is you sit down, we have a conversation, do a needs assessment, and look at what you are currently going through and how we are able to assist you. So we develop that plan together, whether it is you are looking for a therapist. So we provide you with different referrals, help you see what's available in your area. If you don't understand your insurance benefits, we even have someone amazing on our team who is able to help you with that and navigate that and give you an explanation of benefits, go through all of those different things, as well as just looking at ways to address your current needs. We follow up however many times you feel like you need it, whether it is bi-weekly, whether it is weekly, depending on what you have going on. And if you're interested, you can always call our center and then say, hey, I heard about your case management. I would like to take part in it. Along with different individual work, we offer group work. So when we're talking about group work, we have psychoeducational classes. These classes are classes that anyone can benefit from. So while we are here to service those directly impacted by 531, we recognize that the community at large has been affected by this tragic event. And with that being said, our classes focus on things such as healthy lifestyle. So if you are someone who struggles with sleep, we have a class for you, sleep hygiene. Or if you are someone who are looking to improve your eating habits, we have healthy eating habits, as well as looking at the classes that are a little bit more targeted towards trauma or grief to understand those different things, or anxiety to understand deeper about anxiety. And then we have our healthy wellness classes such as yoga, as well as Latin line dancing, where we partner with the city to kind of bring that to you guys in person now that we're able to, with things with COVID opening back up and whatnot. Along with that, we have mobile programming, which is department specific programming where we come to you. So you don't even have to leave your office. We come to you and we do all the heavy work and things. You can meet with us, talk about the topic that you would like for us to bring to your department, and we kind of make that and bring it to you. So if you find that your department is something that is struggling with burnout, as you kind of stated earlier, we make a class tailored to addressing burnout and how to kind of navigate that. Or if you find that COVID has been difficult and within the team there's like a separation, you could make a class on how to stay engaged with one another in a COVID space. So it's all about what you may need for your team, and we're able to bring it to you directly. We realize that some departments are still working remotely, so a remote mobile opportunity is also available for your department specifically. Some other things that we have going on recently is our support groups that we have started. So we have partnered with various community partners, such as the Up Center and Catholic Charities, to bring support groups for those directly impacted by 531 and those who are just looking to be able to go from just surviving to being able to thrive. So this is open to anyone who is wanting to take part. With all of our opportunities for engagement, if you would like to see what is happening, you can go to our website, thevbstrongcenter.org, and go to the events tab where you will find our monthly calendar. It's so easy. You just click the link, take you to the Eventbrite, and then you sign up. That easy.
That's great. I didn't realize how many different things that you guys offer. But I guess, how can your needs change over the years? I know we're coming up on the third commemoration of the 531 event. So I guess, again, how do they change, over time? But also, are you guys doing anything specific this year to mark the third commemoration?
Needs always changes, Jared, and Caitlin. And so we always evaluating what's the needs of the community. We can hear certain things from current clients, and then we connect with other resiliency centers. We get information of what they hear in their community, and we look at it, how can that benefit our community? And it's really, we're here designed to support the community. So we can't get stuck on, well, this is what worked over here, let's put it over here. So we have to, sometimes it's trial and error. And so when we're looking at the 3-year mark, one of the things that we're looking to continue to do is provide opportunities for individuals to come and receive support. The sole purpose of a resiliency center is to bridge the gap and connect individuals to the resources that they have identified they might need or has been assessed through working one-on-one, as Shaniqua talked about within the case manager, giving them ideas. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Based on what you're telling me. Because sometimes when you're in trauma, you're in survival mode. You can't see 3, 4, 6 months ahead. You're only looking at right then and there, how do I save myself? How do I maybe save my family member or save a friend? And so sometimes you need that third party, the other person looking at it from a different lens to say, have you thought about these other resources? So the Resiliency Center, really our focus is as a conduit to bring resources to the individual or group of individuals who are in need. So we're providing pop-up sessions to where now we are working with other mental health clinicians in the community from different agencies, from private organizations, to set aside time out of their schedule within the last week and on that Monday and Tuesday to provide an opportunity for individuals to schedule maybe either a 30-minute session or come in as an open session just to talk about their feelings right then in that moment. And this is free. So that's one of the things that we are doing and implementing for the community at large, to have that discussion in a safe and trusted environment with a credentialed, licensed in the state of Virginia professional. And so that's what we're doing for the last week. What we're doing, Shaniqua and myself, is that month, again, continuing our programming, psychoeducational classes, And there's a prepared wellness
Mhm.
series that the VB Strong Center and the previous staff have created to talk about, to educate individuals about triggers, about things to expect when you come around, which we call it an anniversary, but I like to focus on just the mark of the date in which it happened.
Right.
And so we're doing a four session series for that month. And then the other thing we're doing, we've actually partnered with the City of Virginia Beach, which I love, with Park and Recreation Department. We offer yoga classes each month, but in connecting with the Park and Recreation Department, you all have many yoga classes with many different topics that will support our community, specifically because there are certain classes that they have created, which I think one is yin yoga, restorative yoga. And so there are different classes, and you offer at many different locations at many different times. So we partnered with the city to have spaces opened up for those that were impacted by 531 to register for these classes. So that will be on our website. Anybody who wants to connect to what we're doing for the month of May needs to go to our website, or they can call us at 757-507-7200 for more information, or shoot us an email. But all of the events would be on our website. And then the other thing that we're doing is we are connected with other organizations as well as other departments within the city who are hosting an event. It's like we have the police department are doing a family and friends day that month. The City of Virginia Beach and certain different departments are doing, type of memorial events. The VB Strong Center will have our presence there to support those in need, and also just bring some information and awareness.
That's awesome. I think that's so cool that I think you mentioned it, Shaniqua, how with all of these services, it's not just targeted for people directly impacted by 531, but it's for people outside of that immediate bubble too. Could you speak more on the importance of not just those people, but the community at large?
So it's important for everybody to know that in some way, shape, or form, we were impacted. Some definitely more than others. But I like to just present this as a thought to everybody listening. People who are not physically injured, but were there that day and have survived, some are silently hurting for two reasons. Because they don't want to take away attention for those who have those visible signs, so they don't deem themselves worthy of getting the help and support they need. And then the other thing is they're silently hurting because they don't look at themselves as a true victim. We are here to support everyone. It's important that the families, those that were there that day, those that was in the surrounding area, know that the government put some things in place, which is the VB Strong Center in partnership with Centera, providing funds so that way we can connect you to the right resource. But there are also other people who work with a coworker. Now that coworker is no longer there, unfortunately. There are neighbors who see you every day. They care for you. They're hurting too because you're hurting. So everybody who seeks help won't get the same help, but everybody has an opportunity to get help. Because what you might need, Jared, is different than what you might need, Kate, right? So that's what we're here to do as a team, to help support you, to find you, and connect you to the right resource to help you out in your time of need.
Right, and I kind of want to add that if you have knowledge of what someone may be dealing with, it makes it a little bit easier to help them.
Yes.
So if you aren't someone who was directly there in that moment, attending a class as trying to get more information and understanding about what this person may be experiencing is just as powerful for them. We can learn how to support one another by being able to inform ourselves about their experience and what it is that they may be going through. So it's a way to kind of bring it back full circle to not just, hey, I'm taking this class because this happened to me, but hey, I'm taking this class because I'm trying to inform myself so that I can better help this person that I call my loved one, whether it's a friend, whether it's family, no matter what it may be.
Yeah, I like that you bridge that gap because the benefits office where we work caters to both the city and the school population.
Okay.
So chances are, a lot of the school employees weren't near building number two, but like you said, they
Mhm.
might have been affected directly through someone they know, like a neighbor, a friend, or maybe just on a community level. And then followed by COVID right after with the reoccurring trauma and grief, or I guess just more on a general level. What advice do you give people in that sense when there might be multiple things that are affecting them?
Well, when you get into multiple things starting to happen to you, we have complex trauma. So even if we think about both events, COVID and 531, you may have been dealing with things well before these things happened.
Right.
So now you have those experiences that were already going on top of 531, on top of COVID. So what ends up happening is I like to kind of think of it as they stack because it never truly goes away. We can't erase experiences that have happened in our lives, no matter how much we would like to. Like this whiteboard behind us, we can't write it down and erase it. It has happened. So the one thing that may be helpful is to be able to seek help with a professional, a healthcare professional, to kind of start to process and talk through these things, to be able to start to unpack some things that happen. Also, because there is no timeline to this healing journey, we can't say that, oh, in 3 years, we know for sure you are going to be back.
Right. Yeah.
We can't say that because we don't know. There are times where you can feel like you have everything under control and you are good to go, and then something can happen to trigger you, like Mark said, and now you feel like you've taken 20 steps back. So having that mental health professional there to help you along that journey can be extremely helpful because they can help you show ways to express your emotions, rather than suppress them, as well as looking at how you've been coping with it and seeing if it's been working and if it's a healthy way of doing it, as well as being able to look towards your support systems and knowing what your support systems are. You can have support systems in people, you can have support systems in organizations such as the VB Strong Center. And just knowing that it's okay to reach out to those support systems and to utilize the things that they may have to kind of help you.
Do you all have any strategies for people who are listening about ways to cope with trauma that maybe people could start implementing today?
Well, you have to take a look at mental health, and which we've now, in other cases, have termed mental wellness. It takes a holistic approach. When you have been exposed and experienced trauma, your amygdala is on fire.
Hmm.
So now you're in survival mode. You don't rationalize the same way. Your ability to think cognitively is affected, which then affects the way you deal with your physical health. And of course, your emotional health has just been destroyed. So there are some things that I would like to encourage people to consider. Getting connected. Connectedness really matters because when you're at your lowest of your lowest, isolating yourself, if you're connected with a support group, as Shaniqua had talked about, if you're connected with your support system, somebody within your support system, they will either reach out to you or you need to recognize that you need to reach out to them. When your pattern, your routine has changed, you're no longer doing the same thing. Staying connected with physical health. Go out for a walk if you don't feel safe doing walking outside. In the virtual space we live in now, you can click on a YouTube video and you can find somebody that has a workout program that you can do within your home.
Mm-hmm.
Connect, acknowledge that maybe you don't want to have everybody coming to your space because you're still working on trusting again. You're still working on being comfortable around other people after your traumatic situation or complex trauma. So maybe, again, connecting with one individual, who is not looking for anything in return. They just want to make sure you're all right. Bring them on, have an accountability partner. Hey, let's do this workout together. So working on your physical health, working on your emotional and mental health, definitely, if you utilize your support system, but I think sometimes in utilizing your support system, as Shaniqua had talked about, it might be most beneficial to reach out to a mental health clinician, because now that you've experienced some trauma, there's some things that you're going to have to deal with probably for the rest of your life because of a smell. We are sensory beings. It can be a smell, it can be a word, it can be a color, it can be anything that can trigger you. There's some tools now that you need to develop, as we call coping skills, right? And there are some clinicians who have been trained in many different modalities to help you improve your tool belt. And then the other thing is, as hard as it may be for some people, getting involved with an organization, with a group of people, it would be most beneficial, not only in their healing, but also in the healing of others, because we overcome by other people's testimony. And it's not to say that what you've done, I need to implement in my life, but what you've done and what you're saying and what you're sharing gives me hope. And I like to use the acronym HOPE for helping other people endure. There are times that we need to help other people, and there is gratification in being connected. As I'm just as elated to be in your presence, just listening to what you all do and kind of bridging the gap between how you have to bridge the gap between the city and the school system, as we do for the community and those that were impacted by 531. So getting connected with other people is most beneficial at that time, because somebody can help pull you up out of your darkest moments to get you to another level that you can't see because you're in survival mode.
Right.
Yeah, knowing that others are there for you, fill you up
Yes.
with self-confidence,
Yes.
and just knowing that people are there for you.
Right.
It was my understanding that the VB Strong Center was meant to be kind of like a temporary service, I think like a 3-year contract. Is there somewhere that employees or people affected by the tragedy can go for ongoing support?
So the VB Strong Center definitely is a temporary service. Timeline-wise, we don't know. It was by the grant. So whatever, so again, whatever the grant date of that is, we'll know once we get that date. But we have been put in place to provide immediate support and temporary support. So with that being said, there is a plan in place. The City of Virginia Beach, they have a recovery team that we collaborate with. They've hired individuals as they see that there are certain things that we can't address. They can address because it is their population. And so we work with, within the Office of Volunteers, they have a recovery team, and they're doing a lot of brainstorming and putting some things in place to figure out what is the unmet needs, what hasn't been met yet. And if you think about events such as this magnitude, where a lot of people are hurting, it's going to take a long time for people to recover. So what's the ongoing process of recovery, knowing that the VB Strong Center will not always be here? And so the City of Virginia Beach has put a team together to look at those, and then also continue to work of bridging the gap of connecting those that were directly impacted, especially within on their campus, their employees, their family members. How do they get them connected to resources to help them in their ongoing process? Because as Shaniqua said, trauma, it's going to take a while for a lot of people to recover. And in some cases, some people do quicker than others, where other people, they just need that continued support. It affects us all differently.
I think, this is a very heavy topic, obviously, and along with COVID, it's been a heavy few years.
Yes.
Is there anything for the both of you that is bringing you hope right now?
Well, just that we have people like you guys who are looking to have that conversation and looking to bring things to the surface, because that's the first step, becoming more self-aware. If you can't become more self-aware how you're feeling, what you're going through, then it's hard to actually address the issue. So just knowing that the conversations are happening gives me hope to know that, because these conversations are happening, the conversation will get to the right person.
What's bringing me hope? Well, as Shanika said, you two bring me hope because there's a stigma about mental health, and it's not like it started last year with one gender, with one race. This was many years ago. Don't cry. Don't tell people how you feel. If you do, then you look weak. And so the fact of the matter that there is now people having this conversation, people who are now taking a stand to talk and bring awareness about mental health and how you are impacted, that brings me hope. The opportunity, because I'm in the helping professional field, right? Just in a different way. I'm not a nurse, but I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So, in my aspect of how do we get people the services that they need? And this gives me an opportunity to help individuals in many different ways. That if it's just a training that we might do within the city, it's just bringing education. That I get that you might be at the stage of you're good, you're fine, but your coworker might not be. How can you demonstrate compassion? How can you be aware of your mannerisms and the things that you say in dealing with this person who is still struggling within themselves? And it's not that they don't want to be okay. It's hard for them to be okay. So just bringing awareness that everybody doesn't heal the same way and everybody doesn't see the same way. And so I'm grateful and honored for the opportunity to, be able to be a part of this work that we're doing here at the VB Strong Center. And it just brings me hope that, every day there's a day that we could have the opportunity to work with somebody who we've been working with or who may not know that we're still here to work with. And so that's what brings me hope.
Yeah, it's really such a great service that you guys provide, as I said, but it is also important to know for our employees that even if they weren't, that affected by 531, there are plenty of other resources available to them. So our employee assistance program is free and confidential. Employees and members of their household can get 5 sessions per issue per year. Again, that is free. And we also have behavioral health offered through our health insurance, where the rates will differ depending on their coverage.
And I like how you point out the difference in that, Jared. And so I would like to make a statement about the difference in counseling, because I think it's important. Because once you experience a traumatic event, that takes you into another realm of treatment. And so I use the analogy of we should all have a PCP doctor, and we see them for general health reasons. But then when there is something within the readings or something that's found out within your health, they send you to a specialist. When you are exposed and have experienced trauma, and then you are a person who have experienced complex trauma, and then you're a person who experienced secondary trauma where you're exposed to people who have experienced trauma, seeing a counselor may not benefit you, a general counselor, somebody that's just, you're looking for treatment. You need to make sure that counselor is trauma informed, have background, education, experience, and understanding the complexities of trauma. There's a big difference between just seeing a therapist, but seeing a trauma-informed therapist. And I would like the viewers to understand that. And I think that's key, and that's most beneficial as you work towards your healing and resiliency over the next few months, the next few years, or even the next few decades.
Right. And even just knowing that if you go to a therapist or counselor, even if they are trauma informed, and you just feel like it's not a good fit, to not stop, to continue the search for that person, because that person will show themselves. I think of it as like trying on pants and clothes, different pants fit different ways, even if you're in the same store. And just knowing that, it may take a little bit of tries, but once you find that person who you feel like you'll be able to do the work with, can be extremely beneficial.
And I'd like to leave this moment with Mark. because you made it mention, Jared, but the ability to thrive is successful when you acknowledge that there's work that needs to be done and understand, excuse me, that the work that needs to be done is going to help you not only overcome, but it will help you meet goals and tasks that you've set to accomplish within yourself and within partnership of your therapist. Because as Shaniqua just mentioned, there are times where we go and we'll see someone, but then we'll stop. We got to continue that work in order to go from surviving to thriving.
Thank you guys both so much for joining us. This was such a good conversation, and I hope helpful for everyone listening. But we do have some resources that we wanted to read off. So if you or someone you know is in a crisis, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK and speak with a skilled, trained counselor at a crisis center in your area anytime, 24/7. Virginia Beach City and school employees are encouraged to contact their Employee Assistance Program through Humana for short-term counseling and a wide array of work-life services that can help you balance the many tasks you may have. And you can call them at 1-800-448-4358 or go to humana.com/EAP. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Life's a Beach, a forum for VB City and school staff to hear and participate in everyday discussions about how we're thinking, feeling, and doing.
And speaking of VB City and school staff, we'd love to hear from you. Please fill out our mental and emotional health topic survey and tell us what you want to hear about in the future. You'll find the link in the description for this episode. And please, remember to like this episode and subscribe to our VB Benefits YouTube channel. Just click that button. You can do it. We believe in you.